Good afternoon, everyone. So let's start our briefing. Um, so why do we need to do a dissertation? So before you chose this course, have you, made up your mind? Well, I believe that, you choose to do a dissertation because you have interest in doing research, right? You would like to know more about how to do research. You know, uh, the best way to learn to do research is by doing research. I think both Eric and I will agree with this, right? Even I started doing research 10 years ago, I still need to gain more experience, okay? So doing this dissertation will be your first experience to do, a sort of real research, okay? Now, secondly, I believe that maybe some of you, would like to pursue a further study, like a DDD or a PhD, right, after graduating from our program. So I think choosing to do a dissertation is an excellent opportunity, to get you prepared for doing further, study to do a PhD study. Okay, all right. Now, your final product. Do you have any idea about your final product? The dissertation. Do you know how many words you should write? Is anyone who can answer me? Do you know that?
8,000 to
10,000.
yeah.
8,000 to 10,000 words. So, your final product is very similar to a long research article, okay? So so it is very important to identify one or two key articles that inspired you, okay? It's very important. Now, could I ask you, have you already got at least one or two research articles which you found very interesting and you would like to do a kind of maybe not replicated study, maybe maybe the topic inspired you, or maybe the research methods have inspired you, right? Okay, so have you got this kind of articles yet? Yes or no?
I've read some articles, but not very inspiring at this moment.
It doesn't matter, it's not easy to find some article that can inspire us, right? It takes time, so keep reading, okay? And finally, I believe that you could find one or two inspiring articles, okay? Actually, if you already you can find you could already got some article that can inspire you. I think you already gained half success. This is very important. Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm going to share with the slide. Okay, so this one. Okay, so can you see my PowerPoint? Yes.
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 Okay, good. All right. Okay. Okay, so we are the course coordinators. So we won't be able to be the supervisors for all of you, right? Because we are quite a lot of students who like to do dissertation, but we'll try to help you to identify a suitable supervisor. Depends on the topic you choose. Okay. All right. And also we provide you with the essential information about this course. Okay. So when you have some problem, you can also come to us for help. Okay. So today's purpose of this briefing session. So we're going to help you to prepare for the dissertation research. So, for example, what kind of, what academic expectations, we have for you. Okay. I'm going to show you briefly, the assessment criteria. And afterwards, we're going to send all these essential documents to you via email, okay? All right. And also, we're going to help you, to prepare a preliminary research plan, okay? I'll show you in detail. And also, we're going to, help you locate a supervisor, but not now, okay? I think actually we're going to help you to find a supervisor, I think, after we got your research plan, after we have a clear idea about your topic, right? Okay. Actually, there are two ways, to find a supervisor. As I told you many times, you can take a proactive way. For example, I suggest, you to take a look at the, potential supervisors in both LML and ELE. I don't know whether you have already, have taken a look. So you just go, for example, I'm going to show you very, okay. So if I want to go back, I'm going to, new share, maybe, okay, so maybe I have to open a page first. Okay. Okay, so, okay, screen. So where's my screen? Well, I can't see my screen. Can you see my computer screen?
Yes, yes.
Did you see the Google? Yes?
No, just a PowerPoint now.
Olivia has left. Right, okay. Okay, all right. Just wait. Okay. Let's just go back to my PowerPoint. And that's interesting. Why can't I share my screen with you? That's interesting.
Cannot?
Just like new share, because I can't see my screen. That's interesting. I can't share my computer screen with you, but yesterday I could do that perfectly.
Yeah.
That's interesting. What about now? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Yes.
So all you need to do is just, click a look at, for example, okay, the easiest way is to Google it out. So you just put LML and EDUHK. You can find our department. You can see people, for example, like, okay, and you click on the names and take a look at their research interests, right? And you can do the same for example, let's go back, okay? Go back to Google. You can do ELE, okay? You can do the same. Then you click on search. Then you will see Eric's department.
Yes.
And you click on people. So you can actually you can take a look, okay? So if you find, for example, that some supervisors, have some research expertise, which are quite match, which quite matches with your research topic, you can take a proactive way to contact them, okay? Write emails politely, nicely, okay? Okay, but tell them, like a possible research topic. If they're interested in your research topic, I think maybe they are able to provide you with more relevant references, right? This is a very effective way, okay? All right, so let's go back to my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes. Your PowerPoint.
My PowerPoint slide, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
My PowerPoint slide. Okay, good. So can you see my PPT, right? Okay, all right. Okay, so now I just will just show you very quickly each of these essential documents. Okay. Can you see the word file? Yes or no?
Yes.
I open a word file. Criteria
Yes.
for grading MATs or dissertation. Okay. Okay, maybe just all right. So you can see that all the dissertations will be graded according to three perspectives. The quality of research, this is a very important one. So, what kind of research will make an A grade, like distinction? You can see that here. As a rule of thumb, A range dissertation will, with some revisions, have a good potential for publication in an international regional journal because of their significance and originality of its findings. Okay. So if you aim for publication, you have to try to strive for A grade. Okay, with an A grade, I think with some modification, with some work, for example, like with the supervisor, I believe it can be published. For example, actually, I told you sometime. Actually, I'm publishing a book chapter. Based on MATSO student dissertation who did her dissertation with me 2 years ago. Okay, but it may take some time. You have to be patient. Okay, correct. So quality of research is very important. And the other dimension is organization of dissertation. So if you have already found a good article, you just follow the article, right? So try to make sure you have all the structures required in a article that can be published. Okay. And the last one is language and style. Language is also important. Okay. But we don't expect you to write something free of errors. That would be difficult. Okay. If necessary, you can also seek help from some proofreader. That is allowed, right? Okay. So I think you don't need to worry about language at this stage. So the quality of research is very important. If your research has good potential, the content is good, and at the final stage, we spend some time, polish our language. Okay. So later we'll share this document with you. Okay. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to show you quickly the research plan which you need to submit, I believe, by early February. Okay. So this is how it looks like. Okay. So we're going to send you this research plan to read this template carefully and try to provide all the necessary information. For example, your name, degree strength. Okay. We got 2 degree strengths which will allow you to do dissertation, right? So make sure you have chosen those degree strengths, which is applied linguistics and English as international language, right? Your name, field of research. At this stage, you can maybe provide some broad area. It could be broad or it can be a little more specific. Okay, for example, you can maybe choose like vocabulary position. You can choose, for example, editor writing as the broad field. Okay, that is fine. Okay, but later I will show you some real examples, so you don't need to worry. Now, research issue, it means that the kind of topic, your research topic. So you should be more specific, than the broad field of research. For example, if you focus on editor writing, there are many aspects of editor writing, right? Maybe you can just focus on the collocation use in editor writing, right? Or you can focus on the grammar structure in editor writing, right? Okay. Yes. So that should be more specific. Okay. At this stage, perhaps we don't expect you. Well, if you can come up with a research title, that would be perfect. But as I have shown you, it's not easy to come up with a clear research title. Okay, it will take time, or maybe you can provide some preliminary research title, and later, while doing research or towards the end of research, you have a clear idea how you're going to work out the title. Okay, and you also have to indicate, for example, some broad areas where you can identify the key feature. For example, if you choose editor writing, of course, you have to review, articles in editor writing, right? If you're also interested in collocations, you have to, also read articles concerning collocation use. So identify a few areas related to your topic, and then you can provide 10 to 15 books articles. Actually, my advice is focus on research articles or good book chapters. Okay, books are. I have some reservations of reading books. It's very time consuming. It can give you some, basic concepts, but usually it will not summarize the research issues, right? Unless you found a good book, okay? So try to focus more on research articles, okay? These key readings can fall into 3 areas, like 1 or 2 overviews of the field of research. Usually, people will read some meta-analysis. Meta-analysis means meta means above, right? If you read a meta-analysis, of for example, L2 writing or L2 listening, right? Actually, it can give you a quick idea because usually, those issues, research issues or problems will be summarized in this kind of meta-analysis. Okay, they can give you a quick idea. And then section B cover the key papers in the areas. So that means more relate to the specific topic you're going to choose, okay? And part C is any papers with similar research questions or design your proposed study. So why do we need to, refer to this kind of, articles? Because I think by reading these articles, it can give you some idea for your methodology, right? Okay, right. And then you have to, work out your research questions, possibly 2 to 3. Okay, usually, one main research question, possibly with 2 to 3 additional sub-questions. So in any case, my advice is don't work out more than 3 research questions. Okay, they will be difficult. Try to keep it research focused. So 1 to 3 research questions are recommended. Okay. Data collection methods. I think we believe both Eric and I have covered this part, right? You can collect, qualitative data or quantitative data, right? So you have to, just, give a brief description, okay? And also you can, describe how you're going to analyze the data, right? Okay. And you can maybe, provide, a few statements about expected findings, okay? And then you can try to, make up a research plan by yourself. For example, set up some, a deadline for yourself. Okay, setting up deadlines so that you can meet with deadlines is very important. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a real research plan, very briefly. Okay, so that you have a better idea. Okay, to go back. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
You mean my computer screen or PowerPoint?
Your computer.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Sometimes you can't see it, sometimes you can. Okay, it doesn't matter anyway. I will show you a sample research plan. Right. Okay, so this information, okay. So the field research. So this student provide quite specific area of research. So collocation learning through writing based on corpus training at higher school level, okay, and research issue. The effectiveness of improving students' lexical collocations in literature writing based on corpus training, okay. Okay, so that's her topic. But later, she further revised this topic. She had a slightly different research title, okay? Because at the early stage, you may not have a very clear idea about how you're going to phrase your title. It doesn't matter, okay? Because while doing your research, you have a clear idea. You can get, advice from a supervisor, and who will help you to refine all these, elements, okay? So areas of literature review, she identified 4 areas: literature writing, corpus or corpora, collocation, and EAP IELTS writing, okay? So these are the key references. She provided 2 key references, okay? And why do I highlight in yellow here? Remember earlier, what is my suggestion? Do you remember? You have to find 1 or 2 key articles that can inspire you, right? Actually, her research is modeled after this article, okay? All right. Okay, all right. And I'll be, the key papers in the area, okay? So she listed one, okay? And final one is about research methodology, okay? Now research questions. She got 3. Okay. Usually I advise students not to work out more than 3 research articles, okay? All right. Okay, so that's for research questions. Okay, so she's going to use interview, questionnaire, and pre and post writing. Okay, so first she's going to give a pre-writing task to students and to measure the collocation use, right? And then she provides some corpus training with students for some time, maybe a few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, and afterwards she carried out the post writing, and then again she's going to measure the the accurate use of collocations. So in this way, she carried out a kind of experiment, right? It's a quasi-experimental study. Apart from doing experiment, she also interviewed some students to collected some qualitative data, and she designed a questionnaire to find out the attitudes towards such corpse-based training. Okay. So interview, you transcribe, so you have to follow Eric's advice, right? How to handle interview data, and the questionnaire, and also she used some t-tests. So in this case, which type of t-test should her use? Do you remember? Should she use pre and post writing? So one single group. So it should be paired samples t-test or independent samples t-test. Do you still remember? One group tested twice.
Paired sample t-test.
Yeah, paired samples t-test. That's right. Okay, all right. So she included 3 expected findings here. Okay, all right. And this her timeline for herself. Okay, all right. All right. So do you have any question about this research plan? Is okay? Clear to you? Okay. So at this stage, it doesn't have to be very detailed, but if you have very detailed ideas, it would be very helpful. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's go back to our slide. Can you see my PPT slide? Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe let's take a quick look of the time frame. Okay. We also set up a time frame for you in order to, so that you can work more efficiently. So by early January, so January 2, you will be able to know that, whether you could register for our course or not. If you want to register for our course, you have to get a B grade for the research methodology course, right? Okay. Okay. Now, and then by February 8th, you have to submit the research plan. Okay. So I just showed you the research plan template, right? Okay. You're encouraged to provide as much details as possible. But it doesn't matter if you can just provide what students I have just shown you. That will be fine. Okay. All right. By February 16th, we're going to approve your research plan and assign and assigning a supervisor for you. Okay. Or maybe you already find a supervisor. Okay. And starting from February 16th, you could meet your supervisors. Okay. So your supervisor will discuss with you, various your research plan and give you advice, or maybe recommend you to read more relevant research articles. Okay. But anyway, you should take initiatives to write emails to your supervisor. Okay? Don't supervisors usually are very busy. So they have lots of activities. Okay, so don't expect them to contact you. You have to take the initiative. So please do so. Okay, by February 28th, you should complete the research ethics forms, which Eric will show you in a while. So we'll talk about, the procedures of applying for the ethic review. Okay, all right. So actually, by February 28th, we expect that the ethic review form will be signed by your supervisor. Okay, and then the supervisor will pass this to the dissertation course supervisor. Which is me, okay, and Eric, okay. And okay, some students are a little bit slow. So April 30th is the final day. Submission of application form for ethical review by latest, okay. But starting from March the 1st, and from May 28th, you can do your research work. Okay? So you can continue to make appointment with your supervisors, okay, and discuss, a very different stages, and report the progress, to your supervisor. Okay. And by May 20th, you should submit the draft, the first draft. And May 28th, the final version. So this is our, the timeline set for you. Okay. Is it clear to you? Yes. Okay. All right. Okay, I believe some of you would be interested in knowing what kind of research topics, our past students have done. We have we have a quite a rich pool, okay? And we'll share with you our email later, okay? Okay, so you see that we have lots of examples, okay? For example, actually, the research plan which I showed you, and the final topic title is like this. It's slightly different from what you have seen in the research plan. Okay, so it's a fine-tuned. This title is fine-tuned after after discussing with supervisor and receiving supervisor's advice. Some folks on assessment, writing assessment, some folks on phonology, or you can do our attitudinal study towards native, non-native English teachers in post-secondary DYJ diploma in Hong Kong. Actually, I don't understand what DYJ means. Okay, right. You also examine language teachers' identities in Hong Kong, experience of mainland students. Okay. All right. So there are lots of so you can take a look. So it's quite long. Okay. So we're going to send this document to you later. Okay. Eric will cover the ASCII issues later. Okay. So do you have any questions regarding this slide? Okay, can I continue? Yes? Oh, can I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay, right. Well, this is some general background information. So you have to know that if you choose to do dissertation, it means that it's equivalent of 2 courses. So that means you can choose 1 course less if you choose dissertation next semester. Okay? But if you want to choose dissertation, you have to make sure you have chosen these 2 degree streams, which is international language and foreign linguistics. If you haven't chosen these 2 strands, you have to maybe apply for a request for a change of your degree strand. Okay, if you have already made up your mind. Why do we need to hold this sharing session for you? Because we want you to start planning and start preparation for your research. Is to do a dissertation is very time consuming. I can show you some examples. Okay, 2 extreme cases. Okay, in 2 years ago, our student approached me in early October to ask about possible topic for the dissertation. Okay, and finally she finalized, I think, her research plan in early December, and then she collected all her data in later December. She did a kind of a quasi-experimental study. She provided some online course training to students, and she gave them a pre-test and post-test. She also used her survey. Actually, this student research is based on the first PowerPoint I shared with you. Remember about online course, online oral English learning. Okay, so the first PowerPoint I shared with you for the group presentation. Okay, so finally, actually, based on her proposal, she developed her dissertation. Okay, another extreme case is a student came to see me in April. At that time, she did some work. He did some work on literature review, but he has no idea how to collect his data. Well, finally, he managed, to collect some data. He adapted our survey, and administered survey to about like 50 participants, and he completed his dissertation and submitted on time. Okay. Now, why I want to tell you this, I won't expect you to act so quickly as the first case, right? Okay, but don't leave your research planning to a very late stage, which will be very, very stressful, right? Okay, so try to in any case try to if you have time, try to read and think about the topic and try to take the maybe initiatives to contact the potential supervisor. Okay, you will get more help. Okay. Okay, you have to get grade B, right, for doing the dissertation, okay? And you will know the result. We're sure that you can know the result by early January, okay? In case you cannot meet a prerequisite, you need to change your stream, okay? And then in this case, you have to choose relevant courses during the adjunct period of semester 2. Usually it would be the first 2 weeks, of the new semester, okay? Okay, now ethical issues, ethical issues. Okay, so before Eric, starts, do you have any questions to ask me? So any questions? Do you have any questions to ask me? No question? Okay, so I assume Eric could start, right? Okay, right.
So I will share my screen, I think.
Okay. Okay. Let me know if you want to go to the next screen. Okay. Or you can just talk. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, maybe I can share my screen, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you can share your screen. That's perfect.
I share my screen, yes, because there's some documents I want to show them. Yeah.
Okay, you can share your screen. No problem.
Yeah. It's probably easier. Yeah. So yeah.
So Eric, have you already shared your screen?
No, not yet. You are still sharing your screen. I think you need to probably
So what should I do? But I think, can you just maybe stop share, okay? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you share your?
Yeah. Okay. Let me try. Okay. Yeah. I think so. Okay. So can you see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, yes, I can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so this is my PowerPoint. Okay, this is actually Andrew's PowerPoint. I'm just using it to talk about research ethics. So I think in my course, I have already talked about the importance of research ethics. So whatever study you are doing, you have to make sure your study will not generate any harm in any form to your research participants and to people involved or in a specific context. So basically, as researchers, we have to do our study research ethically. This is the rationale of our research. And yes, in our research, because we're talking about research in applied linguistics mostly, so inevitably will involve human subjects like students, teachers, school principals. Okay, and if we were talking about students, some of them will be below 18. So students below 18, they are considered as a vulnerable group or community. So we have to be very careful, cautious about research ethics. Therefore, before you start data connection, need to apply for ethics approval, okay, from the supervisor and also from our department, the two different departments. So I think now in each department we have a research ethics committee. In the past, I think we have the supervisor. They will review your ethical applications and then they will give you the approval or not. But this, I think now, at least in my department, okay, I think the research ethics application, after approved by supervisor, will be sent to the committee. The committee will also review the ethical applications and then to give the green light for you to do your study to connect data. This means actually there are two stages, okay, in your ethical applications. So first you need to go through your supervisor and then you need to go through the committee. In this sense, it means you have to prepare a bit further than before. You need to start earlier in your ethical application. So after you know who your supervisor is, and then after you decide your topic with the supervisor, you need to move fast to your research ethical application. So and then send in the application to a supervisor, and then revise the application and wait till the final approval from the committee. Okay, before you can start your data connection. So this is actually for your own protection. So in your research, I think under whatever circumstances, you have to make sure you get the approval before you start connecting data. Okay, so this is very important. You have to bear this in mind. Okay, so yes, So for different programs in our university, we have different, slightly different procedures and also forms for the ethical applications. Later on, I'm going to show you the form that you will be using, okay, in your ethical application. Okay, so what do we need to include? So first of all, there is an application form. Okay, it's called research ethics application form. I will show you later. Okay, and then after you fill in the form, you also need to prepare consent forms. The consent forms are intended for your participants. They can be students, parents, or schools if you are doing research in a school. Okay, so in the consent form, we have actually a format for you to fill in. So don't worry about it. We'll share the format with you. So in the consent form, you need to provide some basic information about your study. Then you also need to list all the responsibilities, the sort of responsibilities of your participants, what they need to do for your study. And then you also need to list all the potential risks, if there are any, for your participants. Then in the end, you have to announce, you have to tell your participants that the study will not generate any harm to them in any forms, and their identity, okay, their personal identity will be protected. So this is quite a standardized form. You just need to fill in, okay, based on the information of your own study. And in the end, okay, you also need to provide some research instruments to go with your application. It doesn't have to be the finalized version. So basically it's a draft. If you are going to interview your participants, you can just draft some simple questions, okay? So it's an interview protocol, but it's just as an initial stage. You can actually revise later, but you need to include it. Also, if you are using questionnaire, I strongly suggest you also include a draft questionnaire. Okay, at least list some items you are going to send to your participants in your main study. So the research committee, your supervisor and research committee, they will have a chance to know what questions will be asked, whether there are any ethical concerns involved. Okay, so basically there are 3 sets of documents involved in your ethical application: the form, the application form, the consent form, and also research instruments. So bear this in mind. Okay, the next is, yes, if you want to know more details, you can visit these 2 websites. Okay, so the first website is, the 2 websites are developed by our university. The first link will give you the basic information about the research ethics application. The second one is very useful. Okay, so the forms I'm going to show you all come from this link. So, but you need to log in with your student ID. So you go to the link, you log in, you will find all the forms available for your use. But they are different, but you have to read carefully, because there are forms for different programs, for students and also for staff. So you need to locate the form, okay, for master students, for master top program students, okay, and then use the forms. Use the, but for the consent form, I think it's all the same. Use the same consent form, and then you have your own research instruments to include. Okay, so this is the end of the PowerPoint. Now I'm going to show you the forms. And later on, we can also send you the forms. Okay, so here, this is the first form. Okay, so this is the application form you are going to use. Can you see the form?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so this is the form. You can see there at the title. This is the application form for ESC review for taught and also undergraduate student research projects. So make sure you're using this form. So here you need to put down your name, okay, your supervisor's name, and then your area, okay, the purpose of your study, methodology of your study. So give some simple description. This is not an evaluation of your research quality. You just need to give the basic factual information about your study. Okay, we are just reviewing this for ethical reasons, concerns. So you don't have to give the detail, okay, the detailed project information like in your final thesis. You don't have to do that. Okay, and then you move on. So there are different questions you need to answer. For your study, I would say, because most of you will not be doing some psychological or even biological experiments. So it should be quite straightforward. You are just interviewing, you are just doing a questionnaire. So in terms of all these questions, it should be quite easy for you to fill in. Just to read, most of them can just be yes or no. Okay, very straightforward. You will not I don't think you have any hazards, generate any hazards to environment or anything. I don't think it will cause psychological stress or anxiety to participants. So this should be okay, right? And then, but here you have to pay attention because definitely your study will involve human subjects or human participants. So you have to here, okay, where is it? Yes, here. So you have to be careful about this, any potential risk, okay, or the measure to minimize the risks. So if you are dealing with students, you have to think whether your study will have some sort of impact or effect on your students. But in general, if it's just an interview, if just questionnaire, you can just put none here, okay? You should be okay. I think students can handle a questionnaire or interview. And then, yes, here, normally, it's very standardized. So there are some methods for ensuring confidentiality of research data. So I think they have already provided some standard answers for you here. Okay, so you can just copy and paste and put them in the box. Okay, and then in the end, how will your study be disseminated? So basically, most of the time you can put down thesis, okay, or your presentation, or if you want to publish it, maybe a journal article in the future. Okay, then that's it. Okay, and then you need to sign. This is really very important. You need to sign, and also your supervisor also need to sign. Okay, so your thesis supervisor also need to sign. Okay, so this is the application form. Now I'm going to show you. So this is the consent form for participants. You can download the form directly from the link I sent you. Okay, here I think you can already see everything is there. You just basically need to fill in the information, the project title, your name, your supervisor's name, and then again, it's just like what you did in your application form. Okay, the introduction of this research, just some simple factual description, methodology, potential risks, okay, and then how will you disseminate your research results? Okay, this is your thesis, maybe a conference presentation. You just put down some the simple information here. And then you also need to sign, put down your name. So this is, and then, okay, in case you are dealing with students, like primary school students, from secondary school students, or you also, this is important, you also need to prepare this, okay, some consent form, not just for parents, but not just for students, but also for parents. It's exactly the same, but the audience will be parents. Okay, we also have a standardized format for parents, because for primary school students, they don't have, excuse me, the autonomy. Okay, they are not adults to make decisions. So basically, you have to seek consent from the parents. Okay, so this is the consent form for parents. Okay, and then sometimes we also, it depends on the scale of your study. If you are doing a very large scale study, and then you may also have to seek consent from the schools. So this is a form for schools. It's very difficult actually for now to tell you, okay, in my study, okay, do I need to seek consent from parents, from all stakeholders, or do I just need consent from students, from just one participant? So you have to bring this question to your supervisor in the future. Okay, when you meet a supervisor, after you decide your topics, your design, you need to discuss with supervisor and then discuss the consent form. Okay, how many groups of different people you need to seek consent from. So this is the question you have to discuss with your supervisors in the future. I can give you an example of a student I supervised before. So she did the study in a school, but her participants are just teachers. In this sense, she only need to send consent from the teachers, because teachers are adults. Okay, they can give the consent by themselves. But in another study of another student, the audience, the participants, actually the participants are primary school students. So I required to ask her to seek consent from the students and also from their parents. Okay, so you have to be very cautious about this. You need to discuss with your supervisor. I heard that in some cases, especially in secondary school students, like we are dealing with secondary school students, there are cases where they do not need to seek consent from the parents because they're secondary school students. So students give consent, but also the school or their English teachers also give consent. Okay, in this case, parents are not involved, but the students and also their teachers okay, will give consent to the study. So you have to decide, you have to discuss with your supervisor. So this is something I want to emphasize, okay, at this point. Okay, I think that's everything. So you know the deadline, right? No, Andrew just talked about the deadline. 28th February, that is the deadline for ethical application. So you have to get your ethical clearance, okay, before that. And then you can move on to data connection, data analysis, and your writing of your final dissertations. Okay, so this is the general procedure. Okay, so do you have any questions?
Okay, so
Dr.
it's
Yan.
time for you to ask questions, okay?
Yes, yes.
You have to unmute. If you, okay, so I try to yeah, now, yeah, you can ask any questions, okay?
Okay, I'm Shuyan. I have one question that is about the ethic form.
Yeah.
If we are doing research in primary schools, should we get the non-criminal certificate or something like that?
No, you don't have to. We are going to do this study.
Maybe in mainland China.
Oh, in that case, I don't think so. You don't have to. You just need consent from the teacher, from the students. Okay, this is the basic. And then I would strongly recommend you seek consent from the parents. So again, it depends on what you're going to do with the students. Okay, if your study is very simple, it's like, okay, I'm going to meet the students, just have a quick chat or like an interview, I think it's okay. You don't have to seek consent from parents. But if you are doing experiment, you need to hold the students after the class to do your experiment. Okay, you definitely need consent from the parents. Okay.
Okay, what if it's observations or something like that?
For observation, if you are going to record all the students, okay. So this is quite tricky. I think if you in principle, if you are going to record, like video recording all the students, so if your research focus is on students and then you are going to video record the students, I think it's better you get consent from the parents, okay? Parents, teachers, both, you need consent from all the parties involved. But if you are just sitting there taking notes and your focus is not on students but on teachers, then you probably don't need consent from the parents. You see the difference? Okay, you see the difference?
Yes.
Again, it's up to the research design you are going to adopt in your study.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Do you have any questions?
Any other questions?
What's the deadline of the ethnical form?
I think there are two. So the earliest one, the first one is February 28th, right? We expect, but some students are really late. So April 30th, but we wouldn't recommend that. So we, if you can, get approval by February 28th, that'll be perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I want to add something. So actually, when you are applying for ethical applications, it will be great if you can also include your initial research proposal. But Angel, we don't need them to write research proposal, right?
Actually, you can, maybe students can just attach the simple research plan, right? That's kind of a
yes. This is what I want to say. Yes. So attach the simple research plan you provided at the beginning, and then you include the ethical application form, the instrument, and also the consent form. That'll be fine. Okay, that'll be fine, because normally I think in some cases we require a proposal, but we don't want you to write proposal. We don't need to write a proposal, so you include that plan you develop at the very beginning of the project. Okay, the one you already submitted.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So I think you need to be as quick as possible, because I don't know about Andrew's department. In my department now, we require all the student ethics application to go through the committee. So it means there is an extra stage now. In that case, we need to give time for people on ethical committee to also read and also to comment. Okay, on the
including student proposals.
Even including student proposals, even for
From
Even
our
for honors project, yeah, for
honor
honors
project, that's interesting. This is new
Yes.
because
Yeah.
last year I think it's quite simple. Usually
Yes.
after signature, if you get a signature from the supervisor, then it can be passed by to the department head for signature. That's
Okay.
last
Oh yes.
year's
So,
experience.
yes. Yes. So now, now I think the committee will act on behalf of the department chair. I think this is my understanding. So we have this committee basically, and then to
Okay.
review.
We haven't heard about this new
Oh.
development. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's just even for undergraduates for honors project. Now we have this
Yeah, but
procedure.
maybe it just applies for undergraduate students.
We can ask actually. Yeah. So maybe we can ask and clarify later.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So maybe it depends on your supervisor. If your supervisor belong to ELE, you may have to do that. If your supervisor belong to LML, you may not have to do that. Yeah.
No, we don't know that. Okay. We don't know that. Okay.
But we need to
anyway, we'll make a common notice, to all the students, right, informed. Okay. But
Yes.
usually I believe there will be a common practice. I don't think it will be different ones. Okay. Maybe I'm not simply I'm not aware. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, but don't be very worried about ESSEC application. It's very simple. Given my experience in previous years, it's very simple. Just fill in the form.
Yeah.
You need to
It's
do
not
like
difficult. I agree with Eric.
Yes, you need to revise. Normally you will revise. You get some comments from supervisor, revise, and then you will pass. And then even if it goes to some committee, they will pass normally because it will not be. I don't think there will be any some ethical problems involved. So it should be very simple and straightforward. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have other questions?
Mm-hmm. Any questions?
Well, I can't hear. Is that Cherry? Would like to say something? So please, give us some feedback. Okay, all right. Okay. So basically, are you clear about the whole procedure of doing your dissertation? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
And we're going to send you all the files we shared with you. Okay, all right.
Okay. Yes.
So you have time to work on it. Okay.
If you have any questions, just let us know.
Yeah, if you have any questions, you can email us. Okay.
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 Yes.
Okay. So yes, nice chatting with you today. I haven't seen you, so nice chatting with you today.
Okay. So you're happy?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, just stay in touch.
Yeah. Okay. Let's stay in touch. Keep safe. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So maybe just provide us with some general feedback, about use Zoom to connect with you. So are you happy with this system or not? I mean, students' views.
Generally, I think it's fine, but maybe some other students, maybe it's better for them to for us to keep mute, because it will be a little bit noisy when the teacher's speaking and we can't hear very clearly.
Yeah, I noticed that. So I would suggest that when the teacher is lecturing, so you will keep your speaker, you'll mute your speaker. And when it comes, I think maybe the lecturer can signal, for example, now it's time for asking questions. Then you can unmute your speaker. I think it would be easier because it's my first time to use. It was my first time to use this Zoom yesterday, last night. Okay, and our second time. But I think actually with a few more experience, I think actually, we can handle the Zoom system quite well. Okay. What about other students? Do you have any other views? I would like to hear. Maybe if even you have different views, it doesn't matter. So I encourage those. All the students to give me some ideas. Okay, even if it's inactive, it doesn't matter. Okay. All right. So now I unmute all the speakers. All right. All right. So can you give us some views, towards the use of this Zoom system? Still, some students choose to mute. All right. Okay. Well, doesn't matter. Okay, if you don't want to express your views, openly, you can always write to us. Okay, all right. I think it's good for us to know about students' views and perceptions so that we can help them better. So that's our views. Okay, our views to help you. Try our best to help you. Despite this difficult situation. All right.
Totally,
We
yes.
try to make you enjoy your learning experience. We try to help provide as much help as we could. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So if you have no further questions, we will call you the end, and we'll send you all the documents you need. Okay. And if necessary, you can ask any questions. Our email will be okay. Yes.
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 Okay. So thank you very much. Okay.
Here.
So see you. Bye bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.